Conservative media viewers, what's going on? It's me, John D. Villarreal, the four-time national champion, the super genius, and the political expert. Okay, here's the deal. I've been saying this on my Facebook and for quite some time, and I've been thinking it for an even longer time, and that is this. In my personal opinion, first of all my personal opinion only, I'm not alleging facts, not casting aspersions, all for entertainment purposes only. Please check disclaimers. Now, you know, I went on Morning Joe back in January before the Florida primary, and I said that, like, you know, if Mitt Romney was the nominee, that he actually, you know, might do the worst because of the lack of support with core conservative voters, meaning the, you know, majority basically of the Republican base and stuff like that. And you know, I believe that then, and I still believe that's a possible issue now. However, a number of things that I think now mitigate that, and I also believe the more I've looked at it, thought about it, seen different things, looked at what I feel is going to be coming from the Obama campaign, and now I have sort of an evolved theory on that. And that's what happens, right? These campaigns play out, different things happen, changes happen when different things, you know, facts change basically. You come up with different ways to look at that and deal with that. So here's the thing. In my personal opinion, does Mitt Romney have a problem with core conservatives and a problem with motivating the Republican base? I still believe yes, he does. I do think that that is now becoming less of a problem for a number of reasons. We're going to get into that in 1 second. Okay. The second thing that I think is going on, though, is I think that, you know, one of the reasons why this is mitigating and becoming less of a problem is that, you know, look, Senator Santorum had his shot. I believe Senator Santorum made some critical mistakes in the campaign and kept making them. Therefore, he missed his opportunity. But Senator Santorum had his shot. I think you can say the same with Congressman Ron Paul, and I think you can say the same thing with Speaker Gingrich, that they were out there, they had their shot, this thing played out, and, you know, it's going to be Mitt Romney. So I don't feel like there's the same level of, hey, we don't like what the insiders or you know, the supposed insiders are doing, you know, on the Republican side, and they're shoving Mitt Romney down, you know, our throat, if you will, in my personal opinion. I'm not saying there still isn't that feeling out there, and I'm not saying that the insiders didn't want Mitt Romney and all that. What I'm saying is that, you know, we've been through a number of elections now. This thing has dragged on for a while. I feel like people, you know, to some degree, feel like they've had their say, and, you know, okay, so it's going to be Mitt Romney. So I feel like, you know, there's less sort of resentment, if you will, okay? I think that Mitt Romney still has a problem with core conservatives, and there's an issue out there with motivating the base, but I feel like that has been somewhat mitigated because people have, in large part, had their say. And I feel like Mitt Romney, in his camp, in the way that they can, are trying to make adjustments. And some things are a little bit better. They still have a long ways to go, but at least it seems like they're trying, okay? So I think that's mitigated. Now, still a problem, but somewhat mitigated in my opinion. But here's the thing that I think is critical of how I believe Mitt Romney's possible core weakness, if you will, may actually be a strength in this election. And that goes to you know, President Obama and what I believe the Obama campaign may do, in my personal opinion. And that is this. I have believed, and I've said it many times to many political reporters and politicians and stuff like that, that I believe this election, it's not going to be a choice, it's going to be a referendum. Now, of course, it's going to be both, okay? But I think it's going to predominantly be a referendum on the performance of President Obama. And therefore, people are going to say, listen, you know, in my personal opinion, is the economy better or is it worse? Is my own job situation better or is it worse? Am I happy with where the country's going and the direction of the country? Am I happy with the tone of politics and discourse right now from the top on down? Am I happy with again, the economy, the debt, the deficit, all these types of things? Am I happy with what's happened with healthcare and that whole thing with now the, you know, the Obamacare basically up at the Supreme Court? And all this type of stuff. Am I happy with the leadership of President Obama? Simply put, okay, am I happy with that? And I think a lot of things, you know, come wrapped into that. We heard hope and change and all that in 2008, fine. But now we have a record. Now there's been performance. Now we have, you know, an economy that, you know, is 3 some odd years, going to be, you know, almost 4 years down the road here. And people, I think, are going to judge that. And regardless of whatever's on the TV or whatever people are reporting or whatever kind of spin the different campaigns try to do, people live in a reality that's their own and their neighbors, and they know what's going on with them. When they go to the gas station, they see the price there. When they're paying for a gallon of milk, when they're paying for their kids' tuition, when they're, you know, paying for a new car or food or groceries, anything like that, they understand it. And I think that people are going to say, okay, well, you know, Obama, in my personal opinion, is, you know, most known for Obamacare and the stimulus, and maybe like Solyndra and some other things, right? So, you know, how does that work for most folks? Are they happy with that? In my personal opinion, I think if you look at the polls, people aren't really that happy. President Obama's approval rating isn't really that great for an incumbent president. You know, obviously I'm very conservative and all that, but I don't think that President Obama's record is that popular. So I think that the record isn't something that is that great. Bottom line for me is, I don't believe that they're going to have a lot of success running on President Obama's record. Okay? And I feel like that's, in my personal opinion, politically at least, whether you agree with it or not, politically, as a political expert and as, you know, the analysis right here, I believe that President Obama's record and the current state of the economy, the debt, the deficit, and all this type of stuff, and maybe even the tone in Washington, is a net negative for President Obama. Therefore, if you're the Obama campaign. Now, positives. President Obama is an incumbent president. President Obama, very charismatic. So, if you're part of the Obama campaign, what is the tactic that you would want to use? And I think we've seen it from, you know, from that side. Make it a choice election. What does that mean? Put the focus on the Republican candidate. Okay, so, you know, you may not like where I'm at, but look at this person. You know, look at Mitt Romney. You can't elect Mitt Romney, you know, and all, what is that thing, you know, oh, we're going to give him the keys of the car again and back in the ditch or whatever, that kind of analogy and stuff like that. So I think that's what's going to happen. Therefore, if you believe that, let's think about Mitt Romney. Let's think about what is Mitt Romney's big signature weakness known right now in the campaign. What is it, in my personal opinion? No offense to Governor Romney or his team, but in my personal opinion, the main weakness for Governor Romney, at least in this, you know, election go around right now at this point, is that Governor Romney is seen by, I believe, in my personal opinion, a lot of folks as being a flip-flopper. Being on this side of an issue, then on that side of an issue, people ask, what does Governor Romney believe? What are his core beliefs? And, you know, I think his wife was even speaking somewhat to that recently and stuff like that. Well, here's the thing, you know, obviously in a lot of elections that may be a negative. If people feel like, hey, you know, can I trust you? What do you really believe in? You know, listen, that whatever. Are you really with me? You know, what are you going to do when you're elected office? That can be obviously a huge negative. But I think, honestly, in this election, it may be a big positive. Here's why. Because it can really come down to something this simple. You're a voter, okay? You go in the voting booth. You're not happy with where the country is going. You're not happy with President Obama's leadership. And you're like, look, I want to make a change. Fine. If the Obama campaign tries to make this into a choice and tries to really, you know, go negative on Governor Romney, it's hard to really sort of be, if you will, in my personal opinion, scared, quote unquote, scared of Mitt Romney if you feel like he may not have the strongest core convictions, or at least won't really stick by them in a political context. In other words, if you believe that Mitt Romney is going to do whatever is popular, how are you going to be really scared of that? Are you know, so that's the thing. Like, whatever Mitt Romney believes, you know, whatever Governor Romney believes, you know, in his heart or whatever, if you feel like he's basically going to sort of, you know, be fairly moderate in his actual administration, and that he actually will listen to the people and Congress and other people and kind of go with what is sort of the consensus or, you know, the popular way, how are you how do you become really scared of that? It's pretty difficult, in my personal opinion, to quote unquote, sort of demonize that and make, and go super negative on that in a campaign for any real effectiveness, in my personal opinion. So the bottom line is, for me, in my personal opinion, this idea that Mitt Romney sort of doesn't have core convictions and maybe is a flip-flopper and stuff like that actually could be a big positive for him, in that, it's hard to really go hard negative on that in this context. If you're not happy with President Obama and you want to make a change, and then the Obama campaign is saying, well, you can't, Mitt Romney's not acceptable and whatever, like, well, why not? The guy's just going to be modern, he's going to do what's basically popular, and he's going to listen to other people. Okay, I'm for that. Especially if you're someone that is not happy with President Obama and not happy with the what's going on in this administration right here. You want and feel like maybe that the Obama administration isn't listening to the people, whether it be on Obamacare or whatever, that passed, with very slim majority, that the majority of people, by polling anyway, are against still. Then you say, listen, I want someone in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue that's going to listen to people. I want someone that's going to be responsive to me as a voter. I haven't fixed on this yet, but I'm starting to really feel like this might be what's going down. I felt like it was time to sort of bring it to the viewers out there of what I'm thinking. Because I know you guys know I'm a super genius political expert, and so I want to bring you what I'm thinking. But do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Where are you at on this? What do you think about that? Is it possible that Mitt Romney's perceived weakness is actually going to be a real strength in this election? You tell me what's up. Give me the comments below. Please subscribe above. I'm John D. Villarreal, the 4-time national champion, the super genius, and the political expert. You're watching Conservative Media. Please rate this video up. Also, please post it to your social networking sites. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.